नारायणं पद्मभुवं वसिष्ठं शक्तिं च तत्पुत्रपराशरं च व्यासं शुकं गौडपदं महान्तं गोविन्दयोगीन्द्रमथास्य शिष्यं श्रीशङ्कराचार्य च पद्मपादं च हस्तामलकं च शिष्यं तं तोटकं वार्तिककारमन्यान् अस्मद्गुरून् सन्ततमानतोऽस्मि। भगवद्गीता चैप्टर 2 श्लोक 18। अन्तवन्त इमे देहाः नित्यस्योक्ताः शरीरिणः अनाशिनो प्रमेयस्य तस्माद्युध्यस्व भारत। अप्रमेयस्य आत्मा is aprameyaha. It does not become object of any pramana. No pramana makes the Atma evident. Bhāshya explained why no pramana makes the Atma evident. The Atma has to be evident even before the operation of pramana. That is one reason. And another reason given is Atma is evident for everyone. Everyone knows I am there. Nahi Atma nama kasyachit aprasiddho bhavati. Atma never becomes aprasiddha, unknown for anyone. Because Atma means the one who deserves the reference I, the self. Everyone knows I am here. Where are you? I am here. Everyone will say. Therefore, Atma need not be made evident by pramana. You don't need a pramana to make the Atma evident, because it is swatassiddham, self-evident. Also, pramana cannot make the Atma evident, because to make something evident, the pramana should be able to objectify the object. But the Atma cannot be objectified by the pramana. It is the very self of the knower. It cannot be objectified by the pramana as well as the knower. Therefore, a pramana cannot reveal the Atma as an object. And then, naturally we get a question. Then what is the use of Shastra? If Atma is evident and it doesn't require a pramana to make itself evident, then what is the purpose of Shastra? Vedanta Shastra. We are studying Vedanta Shastra to know ourselves, to know the Atma. In fact, that is the only purpose of Vedanta Shastra. Atma Jnana. Knowing ourselves. If the Atma cannot be made evident by any pramana, then it cannot be made evident by Shastra pramana also. And it need not be made evident by Shastra pramana. Then what role does the Shastra play? Does Shastra become pramana at all? Shastra is meant for revealing the Atma. The Atma cannot be made evident by any pramana. That means the Shastra cannot reveal the Atma. In that case, the Shastra is not pramana. Therefore, based on our previous discussion, the Purva Pakshi might get a question. In that case, Shastra is not pramana. Here Shastra refers to Vedanta Shastra, not other Shastra. Veda Purva is pramana. That is fine, we don't have any problem. But Vedanta Shastra, which reveals the Atma, which reveals the truth of the Atma, is it pramana then? How can it be pramana at all? Then Siddhanti says, Shastra is very much a pramana. Shastram tu antyam pramanam. Yeah, here another reading is there which seems a little better. Atyantam pramanam. Ramaraya Kavi takes that reading. Atyantam pramanam. Anandagiri takes antyam pramanam. Ramaraya Kavi takes atyantam pramanam. Shastram tu atyantam pramanam. Shastra is very much a pramana. Even more pramana than any other means of knowledge. Because any other means of knowledge might go wrong sometimes. But Shastra pramana does not go wrong. It is atyantam pramanam. Very much valid means of knowledge. That is the reading atyantam pramanam. If we take antyam pramanam, Shastra is final pramana, ultimate pramana. Anandagiri says, शास्त्रेण प्रत्यग्भूते ब्रह्मणि प्रतिपादिते प्रमात्रादि विभागस्य व्यावृत्तत्वात् युक्तम् अस्य अन्त्यत्वम्. Once the Shastra reveals the Brahman, which is none other than Atma, once the Brahman is understood, all duality is negated, all Dvaita is negated, and the Dvaita includes the difference of Pramatra, Pramana, Prameya. Pramana, Pramatra, the knower, known, and the means of knowledge. The Triputi gets negated. And then all Pramanas become mithya. All Pramana Prameya Vyavahara becomes mithya. Once Shastra operates and reveals the Brahman. Therefore, after the functioning of Shastra as Pramana, there is no more Pramana Prameya Vyavahara. It puts an end to all Pramana Prameya Vyavahara. Therefore, all transaction in terms of knowing through a valid means of knowledge culminates with the employment of Shastra as Pramana. That is why Shastram Antyam Pramanam. That is how Anandagiri explains. Shastrena Pratyagbhute Brahmani Pratipadite. When the Shastra reveals the Brahman, which is Pratyak, which is your own self, and then Pramatradi Vibhagasya Vyavrittatvat. The Pramatradi Vibhaga, Pramatra, Pramana, Prameya, Vibhaga, this division gets sublated, Vyavritta. Therefore, Yuktam asya antyatvam, asya shastrasya antyatvam yuktam. The Shastra is antya, final Pramana. There is no more real Pramana Prameya Vyavahara. Shastram Antyam Pramanam. And he further says, Apaurusheyataya nirdoshatvacha asya pramanyam ityarthaha. Shastra is Pramana. It is a valid means of knowledge because Apaurusheyataya nirdoshatvat. Because it is Apaurusheya. Not written by any ordinary human author. Therefore, nirdosha. It is free from the fallacies. And because of this reason, Atyantam Pramanam, even that reading holds good. It is very much a Pramana. Why? Apaurusheyataya nirdoshatvat. Therefore, Shastram tu Antyam Pramanam or Atyantam Pramanam. Both are correct. In fact, Antyam is not very relevant in the line of discussion, but still it is a fact. Atyantam fits well in the line of discussion. Then, if a Shastra is Pramana, how does it operate on Atma? Atma cannot be made evident by Pramana, and Atma need not be made evident by Pramana also. Then how does the Shastra operate on the Atma? Then the Siddhanti says, the Shastra does not work as a Pramana insofar as making the Atma evident is concerned. Shastra does not make the Atma evident. Unlike in the other Pramanas, where a Pramana makes a non-evident object evident when it comes to Anatma. For example, this pot. As long as my eyes are closed or the pot is away, the pot is not evident to me. At least the pot, baby pot inside this pot is not evident to me now. But then I take it out. Then this pot has become evident. My pratyaksha pramana in the form of my chakshurindriya makes this pot evident to me. Otherwise non-evident. But unlike that, in the case of Atma, the Pramana does not make the Atma evident, because the Atma is self-evident, Swatas Siddha. Then what is the role of Pramana? Bhāshyakara says, though the Atma is evident, we have superimposed the non-self on the Atma. Atma and Anatma are mixed. In other words, the attributes that do not belong to the Atma are superimposed on the Atma. Though it is evident, there is a mistake in the Atma. What is it? Anatma dharma adhyasa. Atmani anatma adhyasaha and tadharma adhyasa. Both are there. Anatma is the body, mind, senses. What we call upadhi is anatma. Upadhi is superimposed on the Atma. And the upadhi dharmaha, the attributes of the upadhi are superimposed on the Atma. For example, deha dharma. Here dharma does not mean Veda Pratipadya, not that dharma. Okay. Not punya, papa, not that dharma. Dharma means attributes, qualities. We have superimposed the attributes of the body on the Atma. That is why we say, I am short, I am tall, I am young, I am old, I am male, I am female. All are deha dharma adhyasa. We have superimposed the attributes of the body on the Atma. Likewise, all the 5 koshas, the mind, pranamaya kosha. When I say I am hungry, I am thirsty, I have certain physiological ailments. I am superimposing prana dharma on the Atma, the attributes of prana. Because my diabetes, blood pressure, hunger, thirst, everything belongs to prana. It is not my dharma. It is not my attribute. Atma is free from prana dharma. Likewise, manas, all the emotions, I am happy, I am sad, I am angry, I am happy will come under Anandamaya Kosha. I am angry, all emotions, they are in the Manomaya Kosha. Then Vijnanamaya Kosha, I am the doer, Kartrutva, I am the knower, I am the one who makes decision. It's all there in Vijnanamaya Kosha, and we superimpose on ourselves. And then Anandamaya Kosha, all the happiness that we experience is in Anandamaya Kosha. We superimpose that also. Even Ajnana, Aham Ajnaha, even that is superimposed. Therefore, there is Atadharma Adhyasa on the Atma. Superimposition of the attributes that don't belong to the Atma. Atat. Tat means Atma. Atat means non-Atma, Anatma. Tasya dharma, Atat dharma. Tesham adhyasaha, superimposition of Atat dharma. That is the problem. The Atat dharma adhyasa is responsible for samsara. Therefore, we need to remove the Atat dharma adhyasa. The superimposition of Atat dharma has to be removed. How to do it? For that you need Shastra. That is why Bhāshyakara says, Atat dharmadhyaropanamatra nivartakatvena pramanatvam atmani pratipadyate. Shastra becomes pramana as far as Atma is concerned in its work of removal of Atat dharma adhyasa. By removing the Atat dharma adhyasa, by removing the superimposition of Anatma dharma, Anatma as well as his dharma. Because without superimposition of Anatma, the superimposition of Anatma dharma is not possible. So first we superimpose Anatma and then we superimpose Anatma dharma on the Atma. The Anatma dharma adhyasa is removed by the Shastra. That is how the Shastra becomes pramana. Not by making the Atma evident. It just removes confusion, that's all. Now, pramanatvam atmani pratipadyate natu ajñātārtha jñāpakatvena. it does not become ajñātārtha jñāpaka as far as Atma is concerned. Ajñāta artha, an object which is not evident, is ajñātārtha. Tasya jñāpakatva. So, one who makes it evident is called jñāpaka. For example, my chakshurindriya is ajñātārtha jñāpaka as far as the pot is concerned. It is a non-evident object otherwise, and my chakshurindriya makes it evident. It is jñāpaka. It reveals the pot. Because of my chakshurindriya, the pot which is otherwise not evident becomes evident. Therefore, it is jñāpaka of ajñātārtha. But unlike my chakshurindriya, Atma does not reveal, does not make the Shastra does not make the Atma evident. The non-evident Atma does not become evident by means of Shastra. Instead, the Shastra dispels the mistake, the error, adhyasa that has happened on the Atma. Now, we get another question. We need to discuss certain things on this. Otherwise, the discussion will not be complete. So many things have to be told about this, because it is a very important topic in Vedanta. Then, see, adhyasa happens because of ajnana. Without ajnana, adhyasa is not possible. Therefore, there is ajnana regarding the Atma. Now, removal of adhyasa is possible only by removing the ajnana. Without removing the ajnana, adhyasa cannot be removed. There is Atma ajnana, yet, so Atma ajnana is there, therefore there is adhyasa on the Atma. Therefore, if we have to remove the adhyasa, we have to remove the ajnana, Atma ajnana. To remove the ajnana, we have to get Atma jnana. Without Atma jnana, Atma ajnana cannot be removed. Without removing the Atma ajnana, adhyasa cannot be removed. Therefore, Shastra has to produce Atma jnana. Now you said ajñātārtha jñāpakatva is not there for Shastra. That means Shastra does not produce jnana. Without producing Atma jnana, ajnana cannot be removed. You understand the line of thought? Therefore, how can you say the Shastra is not ajñāta jñāpaka? Because without producing Atma jnana, it cannot remove ajnana. And without removing ajnana, adhyasa cannot be removed. Therefore, if the Shastra has to remove the ajnana, it has to produce an atmajnana. But according to you, Atma cannot be made evident by the Shastra. How do you resolve this problem? To resolve this problem, in our tradition, they have worked out. There is something called Vrittivyapti and Phalavyapti. Vrittivyapti and Phalavyapti. To understand this, we should get into the epistemology. Epistemology means the study of knowledge, how the knowledge takes place in our mind. Knowledge of any object, how it takes place. All the pramanas are studied. How pramanas operate. It is a big study in itself. It is called epistemology. So we have some epistemological discussion in Vedanta. So, how does a knowledge happen? We have something called Vrittivyapti and Phalavyapti. See, let's take this pot as an object. This pot is a Vishaya. And I want to know this pot. Therefore, I open my eyes. When my eyes are opened, from my mind, a vritti comes, a modification comes in my mind, corresponding to the pot. When my eyes are in alignment with the pot, a modification arises in my mind, corresponding to the pot. That is what happens. That is what we call ghatajnana. A modification that happens in my mind, corresponding to the pot, which has the shape of the pot. That is what we call ghatajnana. It is also called ghatakara vrittihi. Ghatakara vritti. A modification in my mind which has taken the form of the pot is called ghatakara vritti. In Vedanta, in some of the Vedantic literature, they explain it in a particular way. The vritti goes and pervades the pot. The vritti goes and pervades the pot. That is how the phenomena is explained. Whether it pervades or not, a modification happens in our mind corresponding to the pot. It's called ghatakara vritti. That is what we call vrittivyapti. Pervasion of the pot by the vritti means the vritti takes the form of the pot. It is called vrittivyapti. But the vrittivyapti alone is not enough as far as the pot is concerned. Because The vritti is jada. Vritti is insentient. Therefore, the vritti cannot illumine the pot. The vritti by itself cannot make the pot evident. That is why we have to account for how the pot is illumined. How a jada, insentient pot gets illumined and becomes evident. We have to explain this. To understand this, we should know that there is something called Chidabhasa. What is Chidabhasa? The Chaitanya reflects in our mind. In our mind, there is a reflection of the Chaitanya. It is called Chidabhasa. Because of the reflection of Chaitanya, the mind, though it is basically jada, though it is basically insentient, it seems to be sentient. It has a sentiency, not original sentiency, but a borrowed sentiency. It is called Chidabhasa. And in Vedantic terminology, sometimes Chidabhasa is called phala. Chidabhasa is called phala. Here phala is used in a different sense altogether. Don't think karma phala, not that phala. Chidabhasa is called phala. So, Chidabhasa is always there in our mind. Now, when the vritti pervades the pot, when the vritti goes, wherever the vritti goes, the Chidabhasa will also go. Because wherever there is mind, there is Chidabhasa. Mind cannot exist without Chidabhasa. It's always there in the mind. Therefore, when the vritti pervades the mind, even the Chidabhasa, when the vritti pervades the pot, even the Chidabhasa will pervade the pot. Then, because of the glow of Chidabhasa, the pot becomes lit up. The pot gets illumined. That is how the pot becomes evident. Because of the glow of Chidabhasa, the pot is illumined, gets illumined, and then it becomes evident. That is how we know a pot. So, in the knowledge of the pot, both vritti-vyapti and phala-vyapti happen simultaneously. Phala-vyapti means pervasion of the phala, which is called Chidabhasa. So, the vritti pervades, along with that, Chidabhasa or phala also pervades the pot. So, there are two vyaptis, vritti-vyapti and phala-vyapti. Among these two vyaptis, the function of vritti-vyapti is to remove the enclosure of ajnana. Ajnana nashaya vritti-vyapti. Vrittivyapti removes the ajnana. And the phalavyapti illumines the object. Vrittivyapti removes the ajnana and phalavyapti illumines and makes the object evident. It is the function of vrittivyapti and phalavyapti. It is true with all external objects. Whenever we know any outside object, any external object, we need both vrittivyapti and phalavyapti. But when it comes to Atma, only vrittivyapti is enough. Because there is ajnana of the Atma. To remove the ajnana of the Atma, only vrittivyapti is enough. That is what the Vedanta Pramana does. The Vedanta Pramana gives rise to a vritti corresponding to the nature of the Atma. Atma is Purnaha, Akhandaha, one without a second. A vritti is produced. Atma is Akhandaha, without any division. This is the form of the vritti. Aham Akhandaha. It is called Akhandakara vritti. Just like a Ghatakara vritti, it is called Akhandakara vritti. I am Akhandaha. I am free from divisions. I am one without a second. I am Brahman. This understanding is called Akhandakara vritti. Vedanta Shastra gives rise to this vritti. Then vrittivyapti happens. When the vritti arises in our mind, then the vrittivyapti happens. There is vrittivyapti as far as Atma is concerned. And the vritti removes the ignorance, ajnana. Ajnana nasha happens because of vrittivyapti. But then Atma is self-evident. It is self-luminous. Therefore, to make it evident, you don't need a phalavyapti. Unlike an object outside which is insentient, to make it evident, you need phalavyapti. But when it comes to Atma, you don't need phalavyapti. Without phalavyapti, Atma is evident. This is how epistemologically this phenomena is discussed in the Shastra. Panchadashi Prakarana 7, Shloka 90 to 93. Swaprakashopi saksheva dhivritya vyapyatenyavat phalavyapyatvamevasya shastrakridbhirnivarita. बुद्धितत्स्थचिदाभासौ द्वावपि व्याप्नुतो घटं तत्राज्ञानं धिया नश्येत् आभासेन घटस्फुरेत् ब्रह्मण्यज्ञाननाशाय वृत्तिव्याप्तिरपेक्षिता फलव्याप्यत्वमेव स्वयं प्रकाशरूपत्वात् स्वयं स्फुरणरूपत्वान्नाभास उपयुज्यते चक्षुर्दीपावपेक्ष्येते घटादेर्दर्शने यथा न दीपदर्शने किन्तु चक्षुरेकमपेक्ष्यते. Please read these verses. It will become clear. Shloka number 90 to 93, Prakarana 7. So, that is why this statement, na tu ajñātārtha jñāpakatvena, we should understand it properly. Ajñātārtha jñāpakatva is not there as far as phalavyapti is concerned, not for vrittivyapti. As far as vrittivyapti is concerned, ajñātārtha jñāpakatva is there even for Atma. To explain, to understand that point, to drive home this point, I explained all those things. तथा च श्रुतिः यत् साक्षादपरोक्षात् ब्रह्म य आत्मा सर्वान्तरः इति तथा च श्रुतिः. So Atma is self-evident. It does not need a pramana to make itself evident. To corroborate this fact, there is a Shruti Vakya, Yat Sakshad Aparokshad Brahma. Yat Brahma, the Brahman is Sakshad Aparoksha. It is Aparoksha by itself. Sakshat means by itself, without the help of any pramana. It is aparoksha, it is evident. Ya Atma sarvantaraha, the Atma is sarvantaraha. It is the innermost of everyone. Iti Yasmadevam. Yeah. Thus, the discussion of aprameyasya is completed. Now, the shloka continues. Yasmadevam nityaha avikriyascha atma tasmat yudhyasva yuddhat uparamam ma karshihi ityarthaha. Yasmadevam, since Atma is so, nityaha, evam means what? Nityaha. Atma is nityaha. And avikriyaha, free from modifications. Atma, therefore, tasmat, you don't have to worry about Bhishma, Drona, etc. They are nitya and avikriya. You cannot shoot them. You can only shoot the bodies. Therefore, yudhyasva, go and fight. Yudhyasva, do fight. Lot lakara, madhyama purusha ekavachanam. Do fight. What does it mean? Yuddhad uparamam ma karshihi. Do not stop from fighting. Yuddhad uparamam ma karshihi. Do not withdraw from fighting. Ityarthaha. This is the meaning of yudhyasva. See, Bhāshyakara does not say yudhyasva means you should fight. He doesn't say that. He could have said yudhyasva. Yudhyeta, he could have said. Vidhiling lakara, he could have put. But he doesn't put vidhiling lakara. He just says, Yuddhadu paramam ma karshihi. Do not stop from fighting. Even this interpretation of yudhyasva has a significance. And Bhāshyakara is explaining. Here, the Samuchayavadi may come and he may say, see, in this verse, Krishna explained Atma. Therefore, it is Atma Jnana Upadesha. Along with Atma Jnana Upadesha, he is telling Arjuna, Yudhyasva. And Yuddha is Arjuna's karma, Swadharma. So, along with Atma Jnana Upadesha, Krishna has given the Upadesha of Dharma, Karma also. Therefore, this is a justification of Jnana Karma Samuchaya. Purva Pakshi may argue so. Then Bhāshyakara says, it is not so. Because Yuddha was already prapta. Already Arjuna is in the battlefield with the bow, arrow, everything. So Yuddha was already prapta. Already Arjuna knows that he has to fight. But then there was some problem. The emotional problem. Because of emotional problem, he could not fight. The emotional problems acted as a pratibandha, as an obstacle in his process of performing his duty. And Krishna's effort is to remove the pratibandha, the obstacle in the way of his performing his duty. That is what Krishna is making effort at. And not asking him to do any other karma afresh. To remove his pratibandha, he is giving the Atma Jnana. And then he said Yudhyasva. It was already prapta. It is not a fresh injunction. That is why Bhāshyakara says Yudhyasva is not a vidhi here. It is not a vidhi. It is not an injunction. It is only an anuvada. Anuvada means statement of a fact which is already known. Anuvada doesn't mean translation. Anuvada means a statement of a fact which is already known. Praptasya anuvada. It is praptasya anuvada. When the Shastra says something which I don't know already, then it is vidhi. If the Shastra says you should do Agnihotra, you should do Sandhya Vandanam, then it is a vidhi, because it is not known otherwise. But when the Shastra says you should eat food, it is not a vidhi. You should eat food. We don't need Shastra to say that. We all know. Without food we cannot survive. Our hunger is enough to say you should eat. Every day our hunger tells us you should eat food. Shastra is not needed. Therefore, if a Shastra says you should eat food, then it is not a vidhi, it is anuvada. Likewise, when Krishna says yudhyasva, it is not a vidhi, it is anuvada. Therefore, don't say no, Krishna is supporting samuchchaya. He is not supporting samuchchaya. Incidentally, Yuddha was prapta, and therefore Krishna said Yudhyasva. See, that is why he does not say Yudhyasva is a vidhi. Yudhyasva, Yudhyeta, Yuddham karaniyam, Yuddha karaniyaha, he doesn't say. Instead he says, Yuddhat uparamam karshihi. Do not stop from fighting, because there is no reason to stop from fighting. Krishna is just revealing the fact and thereby telling Arjuna that there is no reason to stop from fighting. That is the only idea here. So, yuddhad uparamam ma karshihi ityartha. Not yudhyeta ityartha. Not yuddha karaniyaha ityartha. You see the difference. Nahi atra yuddha kartavyata vidhiyate. Yeah, see, he is clarifying. Atra yuddha kartavyata na vidhiyate. Here, yuddha kartavyata is not being enjoined. Yuddha should be done, it is not the injunction. Yuddhe pravrittaha eva hi asau shokamoha pratibadhaha tushnim aste tasya kartavya pratibandha apanayana matram bhagavata kriyate tasmat yudhyasva iti anuvada matram na vidhihi yuddhe pravritta eva hi asau. Already he was pravrittaha. He was ready to fight. He was engaged in yuddha. Yuddhe pravrittaha. Not that he was not fighting, he was sitting in meditation and Krishna says yudhyasva. He was already in fight, already in the battle. He has come to battlefield. And he has blown the Shankha also. The Shankha. Panchajanyam Hrishikesho Devadattam Dhananjayaha. Already the Shankha is blown. That means he is Yuddhe Pravrittaha. Then Asau Arjunaha, that Arjuna, Shokamoha Pratibadhaha. There was a Pratibandha. Yuddha Pratibandha was there because of Shokamoha. Shokamoha acted as a Pratibandha for fighting, for performing his duty. Tushnim aste. That is why he was keeping quiet. Tasya kartavya pratibandha apanayana matram bhagavata kriyate. Bhagavan is doing pratibandha apanayana. He is removing the pratibandha from his kartavya, from what he is supposed to do. Tasmat, therefore, yudhyasva iti anumada matram. Yudhyasva, this word is only anuvada, statement of a fact which is already prapta. Na vidhihi, it is not an injunction. It is not an injunction of karma which has to be done along with the Atmajnana. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Huh?